Sometimes the most profound life lessons, they come from the most unexpected places. Today, we're going to dive into some serious wisdom from a Navy SEAL, all pulled from one of the toughest training programs on the entire planet. This all comes from the book Make Your Bed by Admiral William H. McRaven.
So it all kicks off with this simple, almost kind of paradoxical idea. Admiral McRaven, he throws out this challenge that really sets the stage for everything else. He says, if you really want to change the world,
start by making your bed. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds almost ridiculously simple, doesn't it? But believe me, this one small act is the bedrock for a really powerful philosophy on discipline, resilience, and achieving, well, just about anything. So who's the guy behind this advice? We're talking about Admiral William H. McRaven. He's a retired U.S. Navy four-star admiral who spent 37 years as a Navy SEAL. And these aren't just some fluffy motivational quotes. These are battle-tested principles forged in the incredibly intense and unforgiving world of SEAL training.
But what's really fascinating is that these lessons, they aren't just for soldiers. When McRaven started sharing them, he realized, man, this stuff resonates with everyone. They're universal tools for dealing with life's biggest challenges, no matter who you are or what you do.
All right, so let's really dig into that first lesson, the one that's the foundation for everything else. It all begins with one small, totally manageable task that just sets the tone for the entire day.
Yeah, I want you to picture this. You're in a bare-bones barracks room in Coronado, California. It's before the sun is even up, long before the brutal runs and the cold swims, and the instructor's yelling in your face. Every single day for a SEAL trainee starts with this one simple act.
And listen, this was not just about pulling up the covers. Oh no. The standards were absolutely insane. Sheets had to be pulled tight, perfect hospital corners, blankets folded just so, and the pillow had to be centered precisely. It had to be so tight that an instructor could bounce a quarter off of it. That's the level of attention to detail we're talking about here.
And what happened if you failed? Well, welcome to the sugar cookie. And trust me, it's not as sweet as it sounds. You'd be ordered to run straight into the freezing Pacific Ocean and then roll around on the beach until you were covered head to toe in wet sand. It was miserable, demoralizing, and a huge incentive to get your bed right the first time.
So, why this obsession with a perfectly made bed? It's not really about the bed, right? It's about the psychology of a keystone habit. It's about starting your day with a win. That one simple act proves you have discipline, that you pay attention to detail. And no matter how awful the rest of your day is, you come back to something you did well. That first win creates momentum for the next task, and the next, and the next.
Okay, so this whole idea, it builds from these small daily wins to confronting life's biggest, toughest challenges. Because life is going to hit you hard, that's just a guarantee, and SEAL training has some incredibly powerful lessons on how to hit back.
So we're going to look at two really powerful stories from McRaven's career that just nail this point home. One is about why you absolutely need a team, and the other is about how failure, believe it or not, can actually become your biggest strength.
Okay, first story, let's set the scene. McRaven, he's a Navy captain at this point, and he's on a totally routine parachute jump. He's at 12,000 feet, beautiful California day, everything is going perfectly.
And then, in an instant, disaster. Another jumper opens his parachute right below him. There's zero time to react. He slams into the other guy's canopy, basically like hitting an airbag going 120 miles per hour.
He's sent spinning out of control, tangled up in the chute's lines. When his own parachute finally rips open, the lines are wrapped around his legs. The force is just catastrophic. It violently pulls his legs apart, separating his pelvis instantly, the pain unimaginable.
So there he is, in the hospital, laid up for months, and all he can feel is just self-pity. But his wife, Georgianne, she wouldn't let him go there. She gave him the tough love he needed, reminding him who he was. It's such a powerful reminder. You just can't get through life's toughest moments alone. You need someone in that boat, helping you paddle.
All right, story number 2 about hardship. In SEAL training, if you failed any event during the day, your reward was an invitation to the circus. And let me tell you, this was not the fun kind of circus. It was 2 extra hours of brutal, soul-crushing exercise designed to make you want to quit.
The whole point was to create this death spiral of failure, right? The extra workout makes you more tired for the next day, which means you're more likely to fail again and end up back at the circus. But here's where it gets interesting. For McRaven and his swim buddy, who kept ending up there because they were slow swimmers, something totally unexpected happened. the punishment. It actually made them stronger. The very thing designed to break them became their edge.
And that idea, it leads us right into another core SEAL principle. And honestly, it's one of my favorites. It's that true strength isn't about what you see on the outside. It's about something way, way deeper.
Because in the world of the SEALs, and really in life, what matters most isn't physical size or raw talent. It's determination. It's grit. It's all about the size of your heart.
And you know, McRaven learned this lesson in a pretty humbling way. As a young guy, he saw a civilian who looked, in his own words, slightly built, almost frail. He actually felt sorry for the guy, thinking he had no idea what he was getting into. Well, that so-called frail man was Lieutenant Tom Norris, a Medal of Honor recipient and one of the absolute toughest SEALs in history.
The crazy part is, Norris himself was almost kicked out of training for being too small, but he proved every single one of them wrong. And the lesson is so clear. You can never, ever judge a person's capability by what they look like. It always comes down to the size of their heart.
All right, so we've got all these incredible lessons from the beaches of Coronado, from the battlefield, but how do we actually apply them to our own lives? That's the real question, isn't it?
So let's boil this all down. Here are your key takeaways. First, start your day with a win, no matter how small it seems. Make your bed. Second, find your people. You cannot paddle the boat alone. Third, don't run from failure. Embrace it and let it make you stronger. And finally, judge people by their heart, not by what you see on the outside.
And that really brings us right back to the beginning, to the final crucial question I want to leave you with. It all started with one simple act. So I'll ask you, what is that one small task you can complete tomorrow morning to start changing your world?